Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's tutorial, we'll be learning how to draft a basic bodice block. So I'll be showing you how to take the measurements for this pattern that we'll be drafting. For a shoulder measurement, you measure from one shoulder bone to another. For your bust measurements, just your bust circumference, round the fullest part of your bust. Your under bust measurements, round the under part of your bust. Your waist measurement will be taken around the tiniest part of your waist. Your front half length will be taken from your shoulder through the fullest part of your bust to your waist. The back half length will be taken from the most prominent vertebra at your neck to your waist. In order to get the accurate length, you can tie a rope around your waist just like you're seeing here to get the front and the back half length. Then you take your bust span measurement, which is your nipple to nipple. Another measurement you will need to take is your small hip measurement, just like you're seeing here. You would also need your shoulder to your bust point and your shoulder to your under bust. Also measure the total length of the blouse. Now that we know the measurements we need, let's start. So I'll just be drawing my starting line or my shoulder line. There's no measurements for this, but I just came down from my pattern paper by 1 inch and I drew a line across like you're seeing. The next step will be to measure the length of the blouse. For my blouse length, I'll be using 23 inches. It shouldn't exceed 23 inches except your client is very tall. So I just mark that 23 inches across the pattern paper, and then now I'm drawing the line. I'm using a marker so you'll be able to see my lines properly. I'll be drafting the front and the back side by side, so I have to determine how I'm going to divide my paper. So the biggest part of my upper bodice is 38 inches, and that's the measurement for my bust, and it's also the measurement for my small hip. So I'll divide that 38 inches by 2. 38 divided by 2 is 19. I'll add 2 inches to that, and then that will give me 21 inches. I'll divide that 21 inches by 2 and share it to the two sides of the pattern paper like you're seeing me doing. So I'm just marking the 10.5 inches at both sides, and then I'll draw a straight line across. This is the center line that will divide the two sides of my pattern. That's the front side and the back side. Then I'm just marking the second 10-inch point so I can cut out the excess from this pattern paper and move my pattern to the center so you can see what I'm doing well. So I've marked out the space for my front and back pattern. What I'll do is just to trim out the excess. So I went on to mark my neck width and neck depth. For the front, I used 3 by 3. For the back, I went down by 1 inch and my width was 3 inches. So there's a formula for calculating that. You can choose to divide your bust measurement by 12 inches to determine your neck width and neck depth, or you can just use 3 by 3 or 4 by 4 depending on the size of your client. So I use my curve to just join those points together like you're seeing so. The next step will be for me to place my shoulder measurement. My shoulder measurement was 8 inches. Since it's a pattern, you don't need to add allowance, so you'll mark the exact measurement. I came down by 1.5 inch at the shoulder mark for my shoulder slope in front, and then 1 inch at the back. And I just drew broken lines there. Then I drew a line from the neck to meet that 1.5 inch mark at the front, and from the neck to reach the 1 inch point at the back. To get my chest line measurement, what I did was I divided my bust measurement by 6 and added 1.5. The bust measurement I used was 38. 38 divided by 6 plus 1.5 gave me 7.83. I'll be taking that measurement from the back. I'll add 1 inch so that I can be able to take it from the shoulder line, just like I'm doing like this. So I measured 8.83 across. If you subtract that from the 1 inch that I went down by in front, so you get the 7.83. So I'm marking the chest line across. I'm labeling it chest line. And then I forgot to label my front and my back pattern. The part closer to me is my front, part closer to you is the back. So I just labeled it side, back, side, front, center, back, center, front. So next I'll be taking my bust, shoulder to bust point measurement. My shoulder to bust point measurement is 10.25, which I've marked across like this. The next measurement I will take is my under bust measurement. Under bust measurement is 14 inches, so I'll mark that out and also mark my front half length. So I'm marking the 14-inch point and my front half length of 17 inches. And then my back half length was 15 inches. Is 15 inches, which I just marked now. So the next thing will be for me to draw the lines. There's no need for me to measure the under bust at the back because I won't be using that measurement. So now I'm labeling it under bust, half length. I wanted to confirm the point I measured for my back half length, which is 15 inches. So the front and the back half lengths are not equal. That's because in front you have your bust and that will add to the measurement. That's why it's important to take your front and your back half length measurements. I didn't bother labeling the back chest line because it's the same as the front. The next step would be to impute my bust measurement. My bust measurement is 38. I divided it by 4. 38 divided by 4 is 9.5. At the front, I marked 9.5. At the back, I added half an inch. You'll get to understand why as we proceed. So I'm just measuring my shoulder, placing my shoulder measurement there so I can draw out my armhole. So I just draw broken lines, just like you're seeing so. Broken lines at both sides. At the front chest line, I came up by 3 inches. And at the back, I measured half from the shoulder slope to the chest line. Just divided it into 2. So from the point I marked out, I came in by ½ inch at the front and at the back. So I'll be joining from my shoulder slope to that ½ inch point. And then I'll use my curve to draw a curve from the ½ inch point to my chest line. The curve should meet your bust measurement on the chest line. I don't know if you can see the pencil marks, but I'll eventually use my marker to darken it. For now, I'm using the marker just so you can see the points I made. So now I've drafted my armhole. You can see how beautiful it looks. Next, I'll go in at the center back by ½ an inch to help me to be able to avoid all those zip bulge at the back. So if you don't want to have your zip bulging out at the back, what you need to do is to go in by ½ an inch at the center back. This is the reason why I added ½ inch to the back measurement to make up for the part we're taking out at the center back. So at the bust point line, I'll be taking my bust span measurement. My bust span measurement is 8 inches. I'll be dividing that by 2, which will give me 4. And I'll mark the 4 at my bust point line and my half length line. And then just join the points. Then, to draw my dart, I'll determine the percentage of tightening I want to do. If I want to do 100% tightening, I'll go in by 1 inch on both sides. If I want to do 75%, I'll do 0.75 at both sides. If I want to do half, that's 50% tightening, I'll do ½ inch at both sides. But I decided to mark 0.75 at both sides. And I'll just join that point with my ruler. I'll do the same thing at the back. I'll mark out my 4 inches and then mark 0.75 at both sides. At the chest line, I'll go down by 1 inch so my dart can sit well. Then I'll mark my 4 inch at that 1 inch point. And then now I'm just using my ruler to trace the lines down. I'll be placing my other measurements. At my bust point line, I'll mark my bust measurement divided by 4. And then at my half length line, I'll mark my waist measurement divided by 4. Remember, I removed 0.75 at both sides, making 1.5 inch. I'll add that 1.5 inch. So I'll do the same thing at the back. But at the back, I'll add this half inch that I took in. That means I'm going to add 2 inches to the back instead of 1.5 inch. So now I'm just marking those points and making out those lines with my ruler. Just joining the points with my ruler. At this point, I realized I marked half 1.5 inch instead of 2 inches, so I just made the correction and I joined the points. Next, we'll measure the difference between the front and the back half length. Mine is 2 inches. For my bust point line, I'll go down by the 2 inches difference and then I'll join it to the dart. Next, I would measure half of that 2 inches and also join it to the dart. This is what is going to make up for the difference between the front and the back half length. By the time you close that up, you find out that the front and the back half length will be equal. At the middle line of the dart leg, you come out by 0.75 inches. Then you draw a straight line connecting that part, that 0.5 mark, to the chest line. And then you use a curved part to blend it into your under bust line. This will help prevent shortage when you're closing up your bust darts. Now I'm just extending the legs of the darts. This way, by the time you close it up, there won't be a gap in your pattern. You can just easily shape that part again after you've closed it up. So what you see here is our half scale block. We're going to draft our full scale block from our half scale block. So you can use your half scale block only if you're going to attach a peplum to the top, or if you're doing a gown. Some gowns you need only the half scale block and then the skirt block. And then if you're doing a crop top, you can use only your half scale block. Remember at the beginning we took our full length measurement. So now I'm just measuring from my front half length to the full length measurement. That's to the blouse length measurement. And then I'm placing the difference at the back. Alternatively, you can just, from the blouse length, you can just come up by the difference between the front half length and the back half length. So I marked out that point like you're seeing. So remember that the back is shorter than the front, so you also have to make sure you observe that. So now I'm placing my small hip measurement. My small hip measurement is 38. I'll be dividing that by 4 and placing it on both sides. And then I'll use my curve to join the line. So I've joined the lines. Don't be concerned if the shape of your bodice is not like mine. We all have different shapes. Some might be curvier, some might be straight. So now I'm extending the dart leg. From the length of the blouse, I'll go up by 1 inch. Then I would join my dart leg to that point, that 1 inch point. I'll do the same thing at the back. So at the back, from the center back, I will go up by 1 inch and then extend the line, extend the points that I made to avoid zip bulge, extend it to that 1 inch point. If I'm going to fix the zipper, I'll cut out the part that I shaded. Now I'm going to extend the dart leg at the back. Make sure that I'm coming up by 1 inch from the total dress top length, and then I'll just extend my dart legs like so. And voila, we have it, our front and our back bodice. Remember that there is no allowance on this block, so when you're transferring it to the fabric, that's when you would add your allowance. If you're attaching a zipper, cut out the shaded parts. When sewing, you would close up all the darts. So that's all for this tutorial. Thank you very much for watching. If you found this helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Kindly like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can share it to anyone who will find it useful. Thank you very much.